Hey there guys, Arlo here, and today I'm reviewing, Playdead's Inside. The less you see and the less I say about the game the better, so I'm going to keep it brief and I'm only going to show you a little bit of footage from the first part. Well, I won't keep you in limbo any longer. Sorry, let's get started. Inside is a game that really doesn't need a review, especially if you loved its predecessor, Limbo, as much as I did. In fact, all I've got to say is that it's everything you would want in a follow-up and you'll probably be sold, so, I don't know, review over. Okay, I guess I better talk about it a little. The game isn't a sequel to Limbo per se, but the reason it gets compared so closely is that the two games are extremely similar. The only controls are run, jump, and grab, and the rest is about interacting with the environment. The world is filled with puzzles that hinder your path and is devoid of any text or dialogue. It's mostly all black and white, and it just oozes with atmosphere. It's equal parts breathtaking and terrifying. Again, that entire description fits both games exactly, but Inside is leagues above in terms of quality and polish. Every single thing that Limbo did, Inside does better. The visuals made the jump from 2D to 3D, but perfectly maintain and even improve upon the feel of Limbo. In fact, the 3D rendered environments allowed the developers much greater freedom of design, as objects and enemies can now come from all angles. I feel like the puzzles have been simplified a bit, or at least streamlined. Each one feels less like a puzzle and more like an incidental obstacle, making the game world feel all the more real. And that's not to say they're all easy. Something as simple as a door with a switch that opens and closes it can end up taking a surprising amount of thought. The design is just so elegant and perfectly executed, providing a shockingly perfect level of challenge. You'll often find yourself scratching your head, but you'll always figure it out before it becomes tedious, and the game will constantly throw new mechanics at you while mixing up old ones. You'll move through the game at a perfect pace and enjoy every second of it. See, I was bummed that it took Playdead so long to make another game. I mean, 6 years? That's longer than the time between Zeldas. The game saw 3 E3s come and go, for Pete's sake. But once you pick it up, you see that they used every last minute they had to make this a game to remember. This is easily one of the most perfectly polished games I've played in my life. You'd be hard-pressed to find a game that's this finely and lovingly crafted. It's that consistency I was talking about that raises Inside so far above Limbo. Limbo was darn near close to perfect, but the latter half of the game sort of gives up on genuine scares and becomes way more about the puzzles, then leads to an extremely abrupt ending that's the very definition of ambiguous. But Inside just never stops surprising you and revealing more of its terrifying world. Limbo featured a nightmarish dreamscape where anything could happen, which was totally cool in its own way, but Inside takes you through a more concrete place that slowly opens itself to you the deeper you go. And instead of just ending, it builds up to a final sequence that I could have never seen coming and that I'm still thinking about. From start to finish, Inside is a joy to play. It's a true piece of art, a distinction that's made easier by its simplistic design and complete seamlessness. And when I say seamlessness, I mean there are no seams. There are no glitches. There's no clipping through objects. There's no GUI. My playthrough was entirely devoid of frame rate or performance hiccups. When you boot up the game, it just starts. And if you pause, you get the basic menu, but it's not like you're playing a game. It's like you're experiencing a story about a boy making his way through a dangerous and terrifying environment. It's not just artistic media, it's art. It's a fully realized, beautifully done art piece. My playthrough took about 4 hours, and that includes a decent amount of time staring at some of the trickier puzzles. Yeah, I do think $20 is a bit steep for such a short game, especially when subsequent playthroughs will probably be half as long. And it does stink that we had to wait so long for the game, but all that just sort of turns into nothing when held up against the game itself, which is technically perfect, stylistically astounding, and delightfully terrifying. It's all too easy to give Inside a perfect score. Well, I can only hope that Playdead's next game doesn't take quite as long to make, though even if it does, I'll be there on day one to play it. Well, if you'll excuse me, I've got a lot of important work to not do because I'm too busy playing Inside again. This video was brought to you by my top patrons Zonjo, Zoag, Zakanuva, and Ol Burgle from Oldies Gaming Discord channel. You screwed up the Z thing, Burgle.